In today's video, I'll show you the new sunroom that was constructed for us this summer. What used to be a covered outdoor patio area is now our favorite room inside of our house. I'll show you the construction process, tell you about the big problem we pretty much knew we were going to have, and show you the solution that totally resolved it. And for my model train fans, I'll answer the burning question: will model trains ever run in here? I am standing in our brand new sunroom. The finishing touches were put on it just this week, and we totally love it. Sometimes I watch home construction videos on YouTube, and I have to fast forward all the way to the end just to find out what it ends up looking like. So I wanted to be sure to start this video by showing you how our sunroom turned out, and now I'm going to tell you how we got here. It has been 5 years since this house was built for us, and over that time, this house has been featured in quite a few of my YouTube videos, including videos featuring model trains running throughout the house or in our big backyard. In this video from last fall, about the neighbor kids running my model trains out in our yard, you can see the covered patio area that provided a nice, shady area for the kids to run the trains from. But because it gets really hot here in the summer and really cold here in the winter, the patio only got used during short periods of time when the weather was perfect. A few months ago, my wife had an absolutely brilliant idea. Since the patio already had a roof over it and vertical columns to hold it up, what if we had sliding glass doors installed between each of the columns to convert this outdoor space into an indoor space, a sunroom? My wife and I are definitely sun worshipers. If you know much about us, you probably know how often we go on cruises, usually to warm destinations like the Caribbean or the Mexican Riviera, especially during the winter months when the weather here gets really cold. As soon as my wife shared her big idea with me, the brilliance of it was obvious to me. So construction began the first week of July. We hired a company called Perfection Glass to do the work of constructing it. We knew about Perfection Glass because they had been the ones that supplied all the glass for this house when it was originally built. And by having them do this addition, we knew all the new sliding glass doors would match perfectly with the other ones we already had. As the guys work on the wooden framing that'll go between those two existing columns, notice the big wide space in the middle of the wooden frame. That's where one of the sliding glass doors will be installed. In that area just below the roof line, some glass panels will be installed above the sliding glass doors. So this is how far they got at the end of the first day of construction. And on day 2, you can see our first piece of glass has now been installed at the top. And now our first sliding glass door is going in. That's one of the smallest of the 4 sliding glass doors we're having installed. Pretty quickly they move on to the wooden framing for the next sliding glass door. Now I'm going to switch over to my second camera. And I've jumped ahead to a little later that day so you can see the progress they've made. All 4 sliding glass doors are in, so it's really coming together now. And they're going to start putting in the glass panels that sit above the sliding glass doors. And by the end of day 2 of construction, this is where we were. It sure was starting to look like a sunroom at this point. And after all the guys had left, I shot this video so you could see it from inside. On day 3, they were working on insulating all the little spaces where air might leak through small spaces where window frames meet wood frames. And then later in the day, from my second camera, you can see them temporarily installing some wooden covers in place of where some glass would later be installed, because somebody screwed up. The glass that was supposed to go there never got ordered. So to keep the bugs out until the glass shows up, temporary wooden windows. I should also point out that there's going to be a lot of painting later, so don't worry that there are some mismatched colors there right now. We'll get everything painted and looking perfect once all the structural stuff is finished. For you to appreciate what happens on day 4, we have to do a little before and after. This is a nice before shot of our living room. Notice that pair of windows that look out from our living room to our patio. Those windows do not open. They are just there to give us the view of the yard and to let a little light in. Now here is how it ends up after our little renovation. Where those windows used to be, French doors, which we normally leave open so that the sunroom just becomes an extension of the living room. So here on day 4, we get to see the fairly long and messy process of removing that pair of windows and expanding the opening to fit a somewhat taller set of French doors. There was a lot more to it than that, but that's the gist of it. Later, the French doors went in, and that was very transformative because French doors that can be opened up really make both the sunroom and the living room feel totally different when there was just a window there. However, there was another screw-up. Notice how the French doors were painted white on one side and brown on the other. What you see now isn't what we wanted, but it will get fixed later, and in the end, it'll all be fine. After the construction crew left at the end of day 4, we knew it was going to be quite a few days before they were going to be able to come back again, so for the first time, we moved some of our furniture into the new sunroom. You can see the French doors open to the living room. And this was our first chance to really enjoy the sunroom for a few days. Day 5 of construction was a day where nothing big really happened. They were just working on a bunch of little things that managed to eat up the whole day. I do want you to notice one thing. Those 4 places where you see OSB where there should be windows. Remember, I told you somebody screwed up and forgot to order them. Well, on day 6, that situation gets resolved. Honestly, looking at those 4 pieces of OSB where there should have been windows was a little irritating for us, but happy days are here again now that the windows are in. From this shot from inside the sunroom, I think you can see the very cool effect of having a big wall of windows and sliding doors, giving us a very nice view of our ultra-green backyard, something we really love being able to look out on from the new sunroom. Once those last 4 pieces of glass went in, the guys just spent the rest of the day installing the last few trim pieces that would provide the nice clean look of a professionally constructed room. And when that was all done, I had the green light to start painting, starting with the interior, and then once that was done, moving on to the exterior. Now, I could have paid somebody to do it, but professional painters are expensive. So this was one area where I wanted to save some money on by doing the work myself. I'm retired. I've got plenty of time on my hands. And really, this ended up being nowhere near as hard as I thought it would be. I kind of liked it, actually. It was very transformative when you see it go from being the wrong color to being exactly the right color to make it look like it was part of the original construction all along. So here it is after I finished painting, and you can see all of the colors of the addition now match the colors of the rest of the exterior of the house. But the best part is seeing the inside of the sunroom with the painting complete. We think this just really turned out nicely. Oh, and notice also the fresh cut flowers. I have a zinnia section of my raised bed garden in the yard so that we can just have fresh cut flowers in the house all summer long. Now, I know the sunroom looks done at this point, but it's not. There's a big problem. Our summers here are really hot, and this sunroom is south-facing. Even with the French doors open and the main house's air conditioner running at full blast, in the afternoons it gets way too hot in the sunroom. But we kind of expected that was going to be the case. So the first step in fixing that was having insulation blown in above the ceiling of the sunroom. Remember, when they built the house, what's now our sunroom was just an outdoor patio, so there was no reason to put insulation in the ceiling back then. But we're getting that fixed now. At least we thought we were. As it turned out, the two guys blowing in the insulation didn't speak a word of English, so I couldn't tell them where the insulation was supposed to go, and they didn't have clear instructions from their boss. So, incredibly, they spent a couple of hours blowing insulation in to the completely wrong part of our attic space. I only found out about it about a week later when a couple of other guys came over to install a mini split here in the sunroom. Now, in case you don't know, a mini split is a system that can be installed in a room that isn't getting adequate heating or cooling from your house's existing HVAC system. Well, when the guys went up into the attic to run the refrigerant line for the mini split, they noticed the space above the sunroom was not insulated, and I had told them that it was. Well, thank goodness they let me know what they saw up there, because if they hadn't, I never would have known. And this sunroom would have gone years without insulation, probably until the day someday that we sell the house and a home inspection has to be done. Long story short, a couple of days later, the insulation company came back out and made it all right. And now we've finally reached the end of the project. I am standing in our completed sunroom, complete with insulation and a mini split. Current temperature, a comfortable 75 degrees. That's the way we like it. Well, let me just wrap this up by saying that if you ever do some kind of remodel or addition to your home, just know that there will be challenges. It will take longer than you expect. Contractors will make mistakes. Trust, but verify, as Ronald Reagan used to say. And as I like to say, don't lose your cool. Everything will be fine in the end. Hey, listen, you're not going to be hearing from me for a while. There are going to be no new videos from me for 2 or maybe 3 months. By the time you see this video, I will have just had some very serious spinal surgery, and they tell me to expect a 3-month recuperation time where I will not be allowed to bend back and forth or twist side to side or to lift things like tripods with heavy cameras on them. So until they tell me that I can resume normal activities, enjoy the hundreds of videos that are already here on my YouTube channel, because I won't be making any new ones for a while. But when I do finally get cleared to resume normal activities, I think one of the first videos I'll make will involve model trains running right through the new sunroom. Now, maybe it won't be the first video when I come back, but it's a pretty safe bet. It'll be one of the first. Hey, do me a favor. I'm going to be so bored during a 3-month recuperation. Leave me a comment here on YouTube. Please tell me what you think of the new sunroom. Give me something to read. Tell me what kind of video you want me to make when I get back into it, or just leave me some kind, encouraging words to help me get through what I'm told will be a difficult couple of months after my spinal surgery. Thank you. I will appreciate all the kind words.